Andrew, we're talking many millions of Australians, 22 million in fact. Australia has gone from being the envy of the world to now really envying the rest of the world as other nations begin to open up. The United Kingdom, the United States, both clear examples. On Friday, the Prime Minister unveiled the 4 phases that Australia needs to pass to get back to a COVID normal. The problem is, though, we still don't understand what those thresholds will be. The Doherty Institute is currently working out what the level of vaccinations need to be, but Professor Emma McBryde says she has crunched the numbers and believes some 22 million Australians, as we say, now need to be vaccinated to achieve that herd immunity figure.
With the current plan, 85% of the population, that's the whole of the population of Australia, will need to be vaccinated to achieve herd immunity. And if we go for a slightly more strategic plan, that could be as low as 75%, but it's an awful lot of people who need to be vaccinated, so it's a big challenge ahead of us.
Now, Professor Blakely told Sky News earlier this morning he doesn't believe there is a magic figure or a magic threshold.
We need to be thinking not just about the vaccination target, but how it's wrapped together as a package with other things. Because we could probably open up the borders at, say, 60 or 70% vaccination coverage if we keep contact tracing really strong, if we keep using masks. So that there is no magic number for vaccine coverage. It's more, how much else do we do if we're going to allow the vaccine coverage to be a bit low when we open up?
So, Andrew, what we start to see here is the problem that businesses have, because everyone's after these clear and dynamic plans so that they can no longer have concerns about locking down, they can open up, they can invest in their own companies. The Australian Chamber of Commerce makes the point that right now they are in effect the hostage of anti-vaxxers who refuse to be vaccinated, refuse to be inoculated.
The critical issues for us is that whether they're vaccinated or not, and also which country they're coming from, obviously also increases the risk. So we're looking for a more nuanced approach to try and get more people being able to come in safely, and for the community, most importantly, to feel safe. As your polling shows, I mean, the community, it's a mixed bag, depending on which state they're in, as to how confident they can be. We need to build that confidence because it's so important to business to get these things going as soon as possible.
And Jono, you've also got some information from the Western Australian Chamber of Commerce on border bans.
Yeah, we have, Andrew. We'll bring it up on the screen to show the viewers. The Chamber of Commerce looking at whether fully vaccinated people should be able to travel, no longer have those internal border bans. Of those surveyed, those show roughly 54% or 53.5% believe there shouldn't be border bans for fully inoculated people. It's a higher figure in Victoria. It's also a higher figure in New South Wales, but it's worth having a look more closely at Western Australia. Just over 45% of people believe that there should be no internal borders, even if you have been vaccinated. Now, Kristina Keneally from the Labor Party remains critical, no surprise there, but remains critical of the government's handling of the vaccine rollout and says priorities, while they shouldn't be the first priority, often are.
We heard from Mr Morrison this week there is supposedly a 4-stage plan. It's not a plan, it's a plan to have a plan. But secondly, under that plan, lockdown is supposed to be the option of last resort. For millions of Australians today, we know the only option on the table is lockdown. And that is because Mr Morrison has not secured enough vaccine supply and has not built enough fit-for-purpose national quarantine facilities.
Yeah, Andrew, with vaccine hesitancy high and Australia dependent on vaccines being made offshore, it seems the only certainty remains uncertainty. Andrea.